Hello, welcome back to the First Thought series for Doctor Who Series 12. Episode 7, I believe. This one was alright. The monster was, or the villain, I guess, was somewhat interesting to start with. This episode, I felt, was going to have more potential than it did. I felt as though we were going to get some character development. The whole it was overpacked, and it didn't focus on what I thought was the interesting part of the episode. Now, when I was watching it, I had another episode of a Doctor Who thing in my head. If anyone remembers a couple of years back, it was quite a long time ago now. There was an episode of the Seires Adventures called The Nightmare Man. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the Series 3, Episode 1, which focused on Luke Smith having dreams about, well, the Nightmare Man and having nightmares about it. I feel as though if they would have just focused on something like that, and just focused on, like, a villain hungry for dreams, maybe, and, like, making the TARDIS crew have nightmares to feed off their dreams, and then them having to overcome their fears in some way, so to be more of a just inside the head sort of threat rather than the whole universe and outside threat with other people involved, it would have been a lot better. You could have had more focus on the characters and what sort of makes them scared, what obviously they're afraid of, and how they could overcome that and how they could communicate with each other about it. We have, so like with Graham, have his thing about Grace's death and have the cancer and that. Have Ryan's fear of being left behind. Maybe still have like them. If I was to redo the episode, I'd probably have them going back to Sheffield, maybe as they did. But then just having where Yaz falls asleep watching the TV, have that happen as normal, and then have her nightmare, while at the same time Graham in bed at his home, falling asleep and having a nightmare about Grace, and then Ryan having the same thing. Maybe the Doctor, maybe not necessarily the Doctor going to sleep, but the Doctor actually being confronted and then put to sleep like she gets in the episode where she gets given a nightmare. But have all of them develop it more. So have all of them have their own little thing, and then in the end all of them coming together, maybe like Clyde and Ryan did in the Nightmare Man episode of Seires Adventures, where they all band together and sort of take each other's hand and force the said Nightmare Man out of Luke's nightmares. I feel that would have done a lot better, and it could have done a lot more for the characters than anything. Yaz's like story where she was going to run away, that just felt forced. Graham's story didn't really lead anywhere. It was just sort of reminding us that he has cancer. I honestly, through the entire Series 11, I was like, hang on, it got mentioned in the first episode. Is it ever going to get mentioned again? And no, it didn't. It only got mentioned, as far as I'm aware, now, and it's only got mentioned now to say, oh yeah, it's cleared up for a while, but it could come back at any moment. Personally, I think that him just dying might be an okay end to his story. And then maybe like having him succumb to the cancer and be able to be with Grace again, maybe. I feel as though Ryan might leave at the end of this season because of sort of him watching everyone go by without him. Yaz, I feel as though if Ryan does leave, she'd probably just stay with the Doctor because she ain't got nothing better to do. It's not like she's got a job or anything. Yeah, it was disappointing, to be honest. The whole Eternal Beings plot really just did not have to be there. The whole Syrian bit was completely pointless. So yeah, also it's another episode set on Earth. I didn't even realise until I saw a news article, I can't remember who it was by, but it said that every single episode so far of this series has been set on Earth, and it has. Spyfall was, Orphan 55 was technically set on Earth in the future. Nikola Tesla set on Earth. What was the Digjadoon one? That was set on Earth. Just all of them. Every single episode was set on Earth, and next week's one is also going to be set on Earth because it's about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, apparently. or something along those lines. And I'm just gonna assume that the finale will also be on Earth. So, yeah, Doctor Who really has not gone adventurous this year, as much as it likes to believe that it has. The marketing has sort of said that this series has been like the best for surprises. I remember seeing a trailer the other day which was like, oh, this series is on top of surprises, and it's got all these shocks and new things, and oh, there's way more to come. You're saying that about yourself. That like you are just marketing it as you're putting them in there just so you can market it as, oh, we're surprising and edgy. It's like, no, don't pat yourself on the back for putting fan service in your show. Fan service should be a secondary thought. I like fan service as much as the next person, don't get me wrong, but make a good story first, and that's not what you're doing here. Like, yeah, it's good to have Jack back, but he literally was only in there for fan service. It's nice to have another Doctor, but if that serves no purpose to the plot, then that's just fan service. But yeah, this episode was kind of boring. Next week's about Mary Shelley, and yeah, I hope it's going to be good, but I don't know, we'll have to find out. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, see you later.